All right, guys, welcome and thank you for joining us. You're watching Open Studio right here on Cape Town TV. I've got Leluma with me in studio, who is the CAO of an amazing organization called the Sanctum Foundation. All right, so we're going to speak a little bit about his background, what is done in the past, how you got involved in the organization, and also what the organization is doing. Yeah, so buddy, welcome to the show. And for those that's watching for the first time, that do not know you, can you just give us a brief description about yourself?
Okay, everybody, I'm Khomotse Leluma. Originally born in Johannesburg, Hillbrow. Grew up in Johannesburg, as I said before.
Yeah.
So I spent most of my life in South Africa. I'm a pastry chef by trade, so I've always been in the service industry. Yeah, so during my service in pastry, I actually started my culinary career in George, which is also where I started, let's say, my life career, where I really grew up as a man, where I learned things. Grew up as a boy, experiencing what life is in a sense. So in that transition, I always used to go to. I've always been in, let's say, predominantly English schools. So as you can hear, my accent is a bit different. So it's always been like, I would say I was not the outcast, but I was a bit different in a sense. So predominantly the schools being like, let's say, white schools. So it was always an interesting transition for me because I was like in between being who I am as a black individual, as Kumocho, and being in this world of, let's say, the white people in a sense. So it was always just an interesting balance to find out, like, okay, cool, where do I fit? Where do I fit as a person? So it was a growing experience and to find myself, because I always thought, okay, there's always an inadequacy or something that lacked in myself, perhaps on, like, for me being an African, or being a black African, and then being like trying to fit in with other people, you know what I mean, trying to be. So I guess that's where I really tried to discover who I was. And
So would you say you have discovered who you are? Because you're with an organization that's doing amazing work now, where you are giving back to the community. Would you say you have found yourself, and how has your journey, influenced you to be part of this movement?
yeah, I mean, like, my journey has actually influenced me to be very a giving person, because I already knew that, okay, cool, I lacked something. So I always felt the need to give to others. So with that, I just grew stronger as a person to be like, okay, cool, you know what? Be comfortable with yourself and just share with people what you have. You know what I mean? You are enough. So through that, obviously, again, with the industry of being a pastry chef, I traveled around the world, got to see different types of communities because I worked on the ships for a while. I worked in Dubai for a year and a half, and obviously got to see different cultures, different ethnicities. So that made me really appreciate who I was. So that's yeah, yeah, and that's just basically shows the whole journey of who I am, and got me into the environment of the Sanctum Foundation. And then the initial project started, or the dream started, when I heard about Team Go. Team Go was a project hosted by 4 of us individuals, which didn't really last long because we weren't really, let's say, we weren't really driven in the sense that we all didn't have the same direction or vision for the project. It was just like, oh, let's start an NGO, let's give back to the community, but there was no commitment. The commitment that you need to be actually, because it is taxing on a person, because I mean you are giving of yourself, giving of your time to others, so you need to really be involved. You can't just be lapse at it or be like, just a second rate project. So it failed. Yeah, that's the ultimate thing. And then, so a couple of years later, fast forward to this year, I met Tabang Sekhajo, and we got together with on a project called God's Heart Our Mission, which is a Christian organization, which is blog originally. And then through that, that's how the Sanctum Foundation was born, because she mentioned the idea of, why don't we actually do an NGO? And I was like, wow, is this divine intervention? How is this call coming back to me? So I was like, okay, well, I guess, well, why not? Because now I'm with someone who's more serious about, the mission at hand.
Yeah, and especially someone who's also found himself, like you also wanted to find yourself.
Yeah,
and
100%.
what you wanted to do.
100%.
All right, so we're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, we're going to discuss everything that your organization is doing. if that's okay. All right, and for those that's watching at home, I urge you to not go anywhere. We'll be back after this. All right, guys, welcome back. I've got Khomotse with me in studio from the Sanctum Foundation. My apologies. Now we're going to discuss more about what the organization do and how they're working within communities to help, elevate poverty to the best of their ability. So once again, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me, Danny.
Oh, you're welcome. Like we mentioned earlier on, you spoke about your background, where you grew up, and also what has influenced you to want to be part of this and start an organization such as Sanctum that you are doing now. So tell me, what is the organization doing right now within the communities?
Okay, so currently we have 4 outreach programs. One is Mzamayetu, we have Masimglini, we have Holy Cross, and we have the Altar de Toy. So at the moment, these are the adoption homes that we have we support, in terms of whatever contribution we can give until, at the moment right now, obviously we're not big enough to be able to giving, millions. But as Tabang previously mentioned, she said the art of giving can be what it is, yet if it's big or small, you know what I mean? So whether it's your time, whether it's your resources, whether it's, just a word or two, you know what I mean? Whatever you can give is essential to someone's betterment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's what we are about at the Sanctum Foundation, because at the end of the day, this journey of life we are living is a give and take, you know what I mean? We're all sharing something, you know what I mean? So I can't live without you, you can't live without me, some way, somehow we contribute to each other's well-being.
Oh, yes.
So, that's basically the mission of the Sanctum Foundation, and that's the project, and that's what we're working towards.
Okay. So looking at your side within the organization, basically as a CAO, every department, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. Every department has got challenges, and building up this organization to what it is right now. What has been your challenge, particularly as a CAO?
Yeah, my challenge as a CAO right now is being more organized because obviously administration of an NGO or NPO is very time consuming, and you need to be very meticulous at what you do. So it's a lot of information to process. Already just the registration process in itself took some time, and it's very important to realize that the importance of the work you're doing. So that's why it's taken so seriously, especially with government, government registering the MPC, opening a bank account. You know what I mean? So that side of things. I needed to be more organized. I'm being more organized and learning to be more organized. So that's been probably the most challenging part of it, and then obviously the whole registration process, and just to understand, that this is a serious business in the sense, you know what I mean? Serious in the sense that you are working with people, you're working with people's money, of course, and also let's say, I won't say the emotions, but the empathy. Because people they care to invest or care to donate. So you can't be greedy, for example, or just be lax in terms of your emotions or the way you deal with situations. So
selfish behavior.
Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
So when you mention giving back to communities, the organization does work together with many or with some other entrepreneurs and other influencers, people that can give a positive input into somebody else's life. So when it comes to structuring and organizing that, is that also part of your duties?
Not so much, but in terms of, I do assist in it. You know what I mean? So with the fostering relationships, I guess that's where you're going with that. It would be more Tabang's kind of thing. And then also Lindiwe in terms of the marketing. But and we also have David Matawana, who's currently in Botswana. But anyway, so I would do the administration side of things for when it comes to the paperwork of where we fit in together, what I mean, with these people and what role they would play or how they would assist us in certain projects.
You guys are a well-rounded group of youngsters. That's
actually, it's actually a very interesting group, actually. But we come together pretty well because everyone is driven and focused. So that's also, as I mentioned before earlier, with regards to the previous project I tried to start, there was the difference in ambition or difference in drive, and now we have common mission, common goal, and we're obviously going to excel together.
Yeah. So you've got common mission, you've got common goals, but yet you've got different backgrounds.
Yes, of course, a
different things
diverse.
have brought you to wanting to be part of this organization. So have you encountered anybody within your organization that has come to you with the same background as you have had, seeking help so far?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Tavang and my relationship started in that way because
Okay.
she was, as I mentioned to you, God's heart, our mission. She was looking for a writer for a blog, which is my other, let's say, my other attribute or other
Oh, you have
skill
many
I have.
talents, eh?
I guess, but yeah. So she was looking for a writer at the time,
Okay.
and then that's what I started to do. So I wrote for the blog, wrote blogs for her. I assisted in editing blogs for her as
Okay.
well. So that's where the relationship actually flourished and blossomed.
Wow. And you also say that the community has really taken in your services,
Yes, of course. I mean, like, I mean, as I said, we're just starting out. I mean, we recently started in March, so it's a very young organization. But in terms of the community, like, everybody, where there's a need, people will do what they need to. They'll seek a hand, that will reach out to them. And as much as we can, we are doing what we can to be that hand. And there are certain community members or certain. There's actually a small lady who runs a soup kitchen who we're currently actually helping out, doing maintain a soup kitchen. You know what I mean? Just in little gestures or whatever we can.
Yeah.
So that's also how the community is also like saying giving back to us in a sense.
Wow. And I mean, you mentioned you started in March,
Yes, that's correct.
and that's in the heart of the COVID-19.
Yeah.
So how do
So
you manage?
I mean, like, it's you just start. I mean,
Yeah.
with anything, you just start and you just find your feet. And just pull through, do your thing. Whatever you can. As again with the art of giving, it's what you can give.
Yeah.
I mean, as Tavang mentioned previously about the Amatella Wings of Hope, which is the small businesses coming together to be able to also contribute whatever they can within the organization.
Yeah.
They've done what they could do. You know what I mean? And then like we all contribute whatever efforts we can. So it's all a collective effort towards
A bigger goal.
completing the mission. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. And I mean, you guys are doing an amazing job. And as young as you are, you've done so much already. And I mean, you were thrown in the deep sea and you had to swim.
Yeah,
You were thrown
100%,
into COVID-19 and you had to swim. So far you were doing good. So we're going to take another short break. And when we come back, we will speak more about your future plans, what else is there for Sanctum Foundation. And for those that would like to take
Sanctum
part of it, Sanctum Foundation and how they can be part of it. So guys, I urge you to stay tuned. We'll be back after this. All right, guys, welcome back. We are almost at the end of the show, but it's starting time to learn something new. I've got my buddy here with me in the studio from the Sanctum Foundation. He is the CAO, the Chief Administration Officer. So again, buddy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danny.
Speaking earlier on, you mentioned a lot about your background. Growing up in Hebrew and then moving on to
George.
and also feeling like an outcast. Trying to fit in and so forth. And now you're part of an amazing movement, an amazing organization that's doing amazing work. So, looking in the future, there's many young people that want to be where you are. There's many communities that are still struggling with the effect of COVID, poverty in general. What future plans is there for Sanctum Foundation that you're implementing right now to tackle this needs of young people who just poverty?
So, as a Sanctum Foundation, there's many avenues, but for me, one specific project which I feel very passionate about is One Pickup. Okay, so One Pickup is basically the concept to just pick up one item of trash. You know what I mean? Just reason being, I mean, we could walk outside this building and we could find maybe just a piece of paper on the floor. Generally, what we normally do is we just walk past. Is it not? You know what I mean? So, I mean, just to pick that one piece of paper up and just walk and just, throw it away, it can make the world of a difference. You know what I mean? Imagine 10,000 people picking up one piece of paper per day. You know what I mean? Just to clear up the streets, clear up it what it does is it at least promotes a cleaner environment, which is obviously it's beneficial for the person living in it. You know what I mean? Because I mean the slums are the slums because they are dirty. You understand? So if we do not feel that we can live in a clean environment, or we can contribute to cleaning that environment, then it will never be clean. You know what I mean? We cannot always rely on the government. We cannot always rely on civil servants to help us with this. So, for example, that's why just one, you know what I mean? One piece of trash, one thing, just a day, or you walk past it, just, it's very simple. So basically, the whole concept is just pick it up, throw it away. You know what I mean? You generate the same emotion with other people because someone sees you doing it, they'll be like, okay, why is he doing that? For example, you know what I mean? Because I mean, especially in a busy street, I mean, I've walked past them tins, you know what I mean? But if I were to pick up that tin and someone were to see me do that, they'd probably be like, okay, well, maybe I should also, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Exactly. That's correct.
Wow. So, I mean, as a youngster, you mentioned that you've got many skills. You into chef,
Yes, yes,
you're a
official
chef,
chef. Yeah.
you do hospitality, and also law.
Yes, writing, writing.
So, if there's somebody out there now that's looking at you, where you
I just say, just go for it, follow your dreams, do what that itch inside, that instinct, that voice that tells you, okay, look here, today I need to whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe I just need to write a little note to someone. That is the voice you need to follow because that voice is never wrong. So that's my best advice to someone. Just follow your instinct and just really just commit. You'll be fine.
touching is where uh, one adopts a child or you adopt an organization where you say you assist or mentor.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so that's still an upcoming project. Still an upcoming project. So I can't really reveal too much yet. But once that comes through, I mean, it. I think it's going to be phenomenal, especially a game changer in terms of a lot of industries. Just because it's the effort of really, let's say, not so much you say adopting. Yes, of course you're adopting someone, but not really adopting as in, okay, now you're going to be my child, but you're going to be my, I'm going to mentor you or do, build your skills. You know what I mean? So it also brings responsibility to whoever is the person who's adopting or the company that's adopting, because what it does is it gives you that, let's say that that social intelligence, I guess, that will empower um, not only that person but the community around them, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do, the ripple effect. So same thing with one pickup. When we empower the child or the person who we share with, they're obviously going to spread it. You know what I mean? And that's what we want, and obviously we all want to thrive at the end of the day, because the better the community, the better the world. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So if there's anyone out there right now that would like to be part of this movement, seek your services, just your advice, how can they get a hold of you?
So you can go to www.thesanctumfoundation.co.za. You can also contact us on email at hello@thesanctumfoundation. We also have an Instagram and Facebook pages at the Sanctum Foundation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, please feel free. I mean, like, this is also, you must realize this is an open organization. We are here for the people. This is what we're about, for the people, for the development of our community, development of South Africa, development of the world. Obviously, we will start here in Cape Town because we are based in Cape Town. So that will be the immediate surroundings. But and we've got David in Botswana, so we're already reaching out as far as we can. So, you know, um, the more hands, the easier the work.
So what do people plan to do?
Yeah, so part of my dream, I mean, like, with the Sanctum Foundation, is to establish or start a community center. Community center as well would be a concentrated effort of Sanctum itself. So the community center will be based around developing skills of young individuals, giving people a place to be able to, develop themselves. Also come out of your shell. For example, you're speaking about what would someone want to do who wants to do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like, what advice would they look for? That would be the place where they could grow. You know what I mean? I'd, I'd the community center would be an environment conducive to be able to help them build themselves, you know. So yeah, and just
Thank you very much for that, buddy. Thank you for being part of today's conversation. Thank you for coming through and giving up your time.
Thank you, Danny.
To speak to us. And I hope for those that's watching at home, I hope you learned something new today, and also, you are motivated to go out there and do your best to help someone in need, be it in time, effort, or like you mentioned, it doesn't even have to be something tangible. It can just be time and effort. So thank you for that, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, for having me.
So for those that's watching at home, thank you for tuning in. From my side, you can continue. Bye bye.